Hey guys, welcome to my newest video for today. For today's video I'm going to be doing my movie and TV show wrap up for February. So I've decided to go back to doing these monthly. I used to do this monthly quite a number of years ago on my channel, and then I kind of stopped doing that, and I've sort of missed wrapping things up like as I watch them in a month. So I think moving forward I'm going to try and stick to a monthly movie and TV show wrap up. So I'm going to sort of start off with the TV shows, and then I'm going to cover like movies that I watched that I don't own, and then what I watched out of my collection, which is most things that I think you'll find I tend to watch obviously a lot of stuff that I've bought, so most of it is I don't tend to really watch that much streaming, aside from TV shows that I'm trying to catch up, with, but yeah, so I'm just going to get straight into it. So hopefully this video isn't going to be too long. I ended up being off sick from work for 2 weeks because I ended up getting COVID, so it's obviously been in isolation. I had a lot more time to watch things. Hopefully now that everything's starting to go back to normal, it's yeah, because I'll be basically out of isolation in a couple of days, so I should be back to work, and yeah, this probably won't be as big as of a wrap up as it normally is, but we'll see what happens. So in the month of February I finished 3 TV shows. So the first one is Chicago Fire Season 2. I'm trying to make my way through the Chicago franchise this year, and I'm been really enjoying making my way through Chicago Fire. So I did have plans to sort of watch all the episodes like as they were sort of airing with all the other franchises, but I think that's just too much to try and keep up with, so I'm going to try and probably alternate between the seasons. But yes, I'm really loving this show. Really, so much drama, and yeah, everything, like just with some of the rescues that they have to do, and yeah, and then obviously their personal lives, and yeah, I just love all these characters, and yeah, I think that my favourite character is actually Herman. I'm out of all of them, yeah, I think he's my favourite. So it's yeah, it's been really interesting sort of going and watching all these. I never really watch a lot of the I guess emergency dramas. I haven't really watched that many, so I thought going into like the Chicago franchise would be a good way for that. So yeah, so Chicago Fire Season 2, really enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll be starting on Season 3, because Season 2 ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, so there we go, watched Chicago Fire Season 2, and then to sort of break up between all the Chicago shows I've been watching, I randomly, I technically started this at the end of January, and then I finished it this month. I watched or rewatched Season 9 of Criminal Minds. I did watch this back when it was first airing, because I got up to Season 12, like the first few episodes of Season 12 were the last time I really watched the show, and yeah, I've sort of want to obviously try and watch the DVDs that I buy, because I used to be really good about buying TV seasons and then watching them once I bought them in time for the new season, but I haven't done that in years. So I've got quite a lot of shows where I've just sort of bought the season that I watched as it aired, and yeah, but it was interesting sort of going back to this sort of era of Criminal Minds, because it's but yeah, and I've forgotten, I remembered quite a few of the episodes, but there were still some storylines that I'd forgot about, so it was sort of interesting going to revisit. And yeah, it was very easy to get sucked back into this show, because I forgot how much I did love Criminal Minds when I was watching it, because this was like one of the ones where I sort of binged seasons 1 to 8 really quickly, and then I watched season 9 as it aired. But yeah, I sort of binging those episodes. It just made me sort of realise how much I did miss Criminal Minds. So hopefully this year I can make a dent in the rest of the DVDs that I have, and hopefully eventually finish the show. So because I do have all 15 seasons now, so I don't have any excuse. But I did finish a rewatch of Criminal Minds season 9. And then, speaking of Chicago shows, I watched... I'm just dropping everything here, but I did watch Chicago PD season 1, which was very interesting watching this, because obviously I started with Chicago Fire, and especially with Waite's character, because he sort of starts off as really like a proper villain on, like, he's the sort of starts out as a bad guy on Chicago Fire, and then if I hadn't watched Chicago Fire, I'd actually really think his character's really fascinating, because it's like almost completely different in Chicago PD. I mean, yes, he still has he's not, you know, completely 100% good on the show, because his character's still very much morally grey, but I think it's sort of interesting because he sort of does care about his team, and then yeah, but I mean, obviously at the same time, a lot of it is his own self-interest and self-preservation, so it's very interesting dynamic watching this show, and I did really enjoy season 1, so, and randomly, I had no idea that, Archie Kao, I think that's how you say his name, I didn't realise he was in season 1, because he played the Blue Galaxy Ranger, Kai, in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, randomly, so I recognised the name when it popped up in the credits, and I was like, oh, okay, that's very random, but yes, if you've watched Chicago PD, you know obviously what happens to his character at the end of the season, because I was like, okay, well that explains why he's not in the rest of the show, because I think they're up to season 9 now, I do believe, so, but yes, I do plan to continue on with Chicago PD and eventually work Chicago Med into the viewing as well, so I'm really looking forward to making my way through the franchises. So they were all the TV shows that I finished in February, and then I managed to get to 2 movies at the cinema. First one was Death on the Nile. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed Murder on the Orient Express, so it was nice to see another I can never pronounce his name, Hercule Poirot like adaptation. I really do like Kenneth Branagh's portrayal of him, and yeah, I liked the setting. I know obviously there was some casting controversies in light of, is it Armie Hammer, I think that's his name, yes, in light of all of that controversy, but his character aside, I did really enjoy the film, and yeah, I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars, so it was Death on the Nile. And then I did go and see Uncharted. I've never played the video game, so I don't really know too much about it. My main interest in Uncharted was Tom Holland, and I enjoyed it. It was sort of a fun, like, action adventure film. I loved the sort of the quest for gold that they ended up going on, so I enjoyed it. I'd be interested in seeing more films, because I think it did pretty good at the box office, so I'd imagine there'll be a sequel at some point. So I know there's a few like different games, and obviously they did tease what was going to happen, like sort of stuff that they're going to, I guess, address in the sequel, so I'm very curious to see if we do eventually get a sequel to it. So that's Uncharted. And then the 2 movies that I watched via streaming, the first one that I have, I just wrote it down just so I knew that I did watch it. The first one was Melancholia. I think that's how you pronounce it. This has been a movie I've been interested in checking out for a while, because the premise just sounded really fascinating, and it was a very interesting movie. Like, I mean, obviously I knew going by the title that it wasn't going to be a very happy movie, but like it was very like a slow burn film. Like it was sort of, because it's sort of told in two parts, and then you sort of get an insight into the main, like especially Kirsten Dunst's character's psyche, because it's really following her and how she sort of deals with depression and everything happening. And then also you've got this threat of this planet that's going to collide with Earth, and yeah, it's sort of following the relationship between these two sisters. And yeah, it was a very interesting movie, and I'm glad I did actually finally check it out. I watched this on Stan, so that's how I was able to watch it, because I never picked it up on physical media, so maybe one day I'll track down the film and add it to the collection, because I did quite like this one. So I watched Melancholia. And then a movie that I'm actually glad I did not go to see in the cinema, and I was really disappointed in this. I watched Spencer on Amazon Prime. Oh, actually I gave Melancholia 4 out of 5 stars, I think that was, and Uncharted was also 4 out of 5 stars. I realise I have not been giving the ratings for the movies. But, I really did not like Spencer. I was so bored, and I mean, Kristen Stewart, she was really good as Princess Diana. It was, yeah, a complete role transformation. I can see why she got nominated for Best Actress, but the film itself was just, yeah. I mean, I normally like movies that take place predominantly in one location, and you know, they follow the course of a day. It was theme, but I think this was someone said, I remember reading, someone said, oh, it was like very melodramatic, and I was like, yeah, it was definitely that, and even more, like, I normally like melodramatic period dramas, and I just could not get behind this movie. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I will not be watching this again, so, or adding it to my collection. It was, I really didn't enjoy it, so. And then I'm going to sort of cover some franchises that I've been watching throughout February. First one is I've watched the original Star Wars trilogy, so A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. I've talked about Star Wars and my love of Star Wars a bunch of times on this channel, so don't really need to go too much into it, but yeah, it was just a great fun revisiting the original trilogy, and so now I'm up to the sequel trilogy, and hopefully I can watch that in March. So just because I feel like it's been a while since I've done a proper watch of all the Star Wars movies, so just because my movie viewing and stuff's been all over the place these last few years, so sort of getting back into the habit of being able to watch movies, and like especially franchises, consistently and not leave such long gaps. But I did watch the original trilogy so in February, and yeah, I loved every moment of it. So my favourite's still Empire Strikes Back, but I love all of the films in this trilogy, so there you go. And then this one isn't so much a franchise, but they all have something in common, and that is the Lego movies, and also because they feature Batman. And I did have plans to try and watch all the Batman movies, but I think that'll have to be after I watch, because hopefully, fingers crossed, I can leave isolation and I'll be able to see it on Thursday. But I decided to sort of watch some, like, the Lego animated film. So, I mean, Batman is obviously with the Lego movie and the Lego movie 2, Batman's only like a supporting character, but I do love his character in these films, and yeah, they're just such fun, self-aware movies, and yeah, I love all the different references to them. So for these two in particular, I'd give them like 4 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy them more, I think, the first time I watched them, but then on repeats I found at least these two, they don't hold up as well, but it's still a great watch, and I love sort of revisiting these movies like every year. So that one, and then favourite of like at least the Lego films that are connected, the Lego Batman movie. I love this movie so much, especially now that I've like gotten more into Batman, like the movies, the comics, and being more aware of all the different little nods and Easter eggs. And yeah, this is just a really great movie. I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I love the whole Bat family, and yeah, all the references to the past in like the past I guess takes on Batman. Like it says one point where he goes through, oh, we're being through your whole thing, like, you know, it was 1989, 1992, 1997, like just going through all the different years that the films came out, and then it's like there's a throwback line to the 60s, and yeah, this is yeah, one of my favorite animated movies, and I could easily just watch this one on its own without watching any of the other Lego films, but I love Lego Batman movie so much. And yeah, sort of makes me sad that we're not going to see a sequel to this, because I'm pretty sure I was reading that it got officially cancelled. So it was meant to be more like a Justice League take, but I'm glad we still have this one so I can, yeah, revisit this. And yeah, Lego Batman movie. And then this one was a random find, because I was sort of getting into, this was sort of my peak, I need everything Bat family related, and talking about Lego DC Batman Family Matters. This is a very interesting movie, because it's obviously a very kid-friendly adaptation of sort of what happens to Jason Todd and how he becomes the Red Hood in this version, because obviously his backstory in the comics is very brutal and not kid-friendly at all. So sort of how he sort of becomes a nemesis to the Bat family and to try and get back at them. And yeah, I just love it. It's another great one where it's like so many different references and like just the humour, and yeah, it's just so wholesome. And the only thing I wish was that Tim would have been featured in it, because I do love Tim as Robin or Red Robin. I'm not sure what his current alias is in the comics, because I know he sort of changes it a bit. He's changed it a bit a few times. So, but I would have liked it if Tim had at least been included in the Bat family. But the fact we got one with so many of the characters, so like Nightwing, Barb, like Batgirl, Batwoman, Damien as Robin, that type of thing. It's just, yeah, I love it, and it's 5 out of 5 stars for me. It's such a like fun movie to watch. So especially if you're really into the Batman franchise. So that is Lego DC Batman Family Matters. And then just sort of the last of the movies that I got to in February, I rewatched Game Night. One of my favourite comedies in recent years. This is just a fun, easy watch, and this was actually my birthday movie this month. I watched this my birthday, like on the night of my birthday. So yeah, sort of one of the ones that I tend to rewatch every year. So yeah, it's just a great time. So Game Night is 4.5 out of 5 stars. And then again, another favourite musical that I enjoy rewatching each year, and that is The Last 5 Years. I kind of picked February to watch it because obviously with it being Valentine's Day, I did try to watch more romantic films and it didn't happen. So, but I do love The Last 5 Years, especially because it's told in such an interesting way. Like it sort of starts off at the end, and then you sort of flashback between like the Anna Kendrick's character and Jeremy Jordan's character, and sort of seeing the highs and the lows of their relationship, you know, of the last 5 years. And it's told pretty much entirely in song, and yeah, we sort of see them, you know, how they first start to get together, and then as they begin to drift apart as he becomes more successful. And yeah, it's a great musical. So again, 4.5 out of 5 stars. And then another favourite rewatch, Gravity, great science fiction thriller. There's not much to the story at all. Like, it's basically Sandra Bullock's character being trapped in space and she has to get back to Earth. But yeah, but this is just a really intense, like, sort of, you know, trying to beat impossible odds and, like, considering how dire the situation is and sort of seeing how she copes with everything. And yeah, I really do enjoy this one. Again, 4.5 out of 5 stars. So. And then a film that I find I can randomly watch without having to watch the first one, and that is Ralph Breaks the Internet. I really do enjoy this sequel, and I think I enjoy this film a bit more than Wreck-It Ralph, which is, I think, a bit rare, and I don't know if it's a common opinion, but I sort of loved how full-on meta this one went with the, like, going into the internet and trying to get this part for Vanellope's, I think it's Vanellope's game. And yeah, it's yeah, I just really sort of love the adventure that they go on, and also, yeah, how they incorporated all the you know, this Disney princesses and all the different properties like Star Wars, Marvel. It's just a fun time, and yeah, I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. So it's just one that's a very, like, easy film to put on and watch. So it's Ralph Breaks the Internet. And then the last one that I have is, again, another favourite. That was what I was in the mood for in February, because obviously I was off sick for most of it, and yeah, I just wanted to revisit my favourite movies. And controversial opinion, that includes Ocean's 8. I love this movie. It's definitely grown on me, like, these last couple of years, because I think when I saw it at the cinema I didn't enjoy it as much, and then with subsequent viewings I've really come to enjoy this movie. It's just such a fun heist movie. Yes, it's not very, like, high stakes. You don't get a real sense of threat that they're not going to accomplish their mission or anything, but I just really enjoy seeing them try and figure out their goals and to yeah, rob from the Met and basically have fun doing it. It's just a really, like, easy film to watch again, and it's one of my favourite, like, action crime films, I suppose, of recent years. So, which is kind of strange, because I wasn't, again, probably controversial opinion, I wasn't that big of a fan of the original Oceans films. Like, I enjoyed the first one, but the subsequent sequels I wasn't a fan of. But I really do enjoy Ocean's 8, and, like, I'll revisit this movie, but I won't revisit the original trilogy, which is kind of weird, but yeah, I just love the cast in this, and it's just a really enjoyable film overall. So that is Ocean's 8, and I don't know if I said it, but it's a 4.5 out of 5 star film for me. So it's just a really easy comfort film. So, because that's kind of where I was going with the movies that I watched in February. Obviously, Spencer and Melancholia were not quite the same comfort movies choices, but yeah, it was just sort of like, that's why a lot of my films this month were rewatches, just because that's where my mindset was at this month. So hopefully in March I'll actually be able to watch a few more first time viewings, because I didn't really get to that many in February, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing The Batman. Like, I'm super excited for it. It's like my most anticipated movie of the year, and it's so close, so I'm really hoping I can go on Thursday. It's yeah, if we can officially leave isolation, but we'll see what happens. But yes, I think that's basically everything, because I feel like I've rambled long enough on the different movies and TV shows that I've watched in the month of February 2022, so I'm going to stop it here. Thank you guys for watching, and until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye!